I hope that this takes months and months and months, or 10 months, or a year, and you see the extra layers. We've seen that he can do anything. We've seen that he can have fun. Let us see that he can be the guy when the tickets go on sale is, we want to see Big E in the main event defending his title.
Hey there everyone, Rick Ucchino here once again for Sportskeeda Wrestling, joined by another name you know, former world champion, intercontinental champion, tag team champion, United States champion, the man with the best hair in the business, Dolph Ziggler, the show-off. How are we doing, sir?
Great. I'm glad you got my rider with all my demands in there for this. You forgot spelling bee champ, but I'll put it on my social.
There's only so much I can't, without the notes in front of my face.
It's only so long.
Yeah, exactly. I do what I can. A big event here in Cleveland. We're back out on the road, but as of this recording, you haven't gotten to wrestle in front of fans in quite some time yet. So I know you got to be champing at the bit on that one.
Killing me, man. I felt so great. Everyone said like, oh, there's been 3 other shows. 2 of them were Raws or whatever. We've had one, and I was backstage an inch away from the curtain, just feeling that it felt like it was WrestleMania, like no joke. And we've gotten complacent before. We've kind of been like, oh, we're so used to this. We're so used to our matches and going through the motions sometimes that you go, we missed this. We were in front of iPads for 18 months. And it was the absolute worst. You could have a Super Bowl in front of them, and you could still root for them, but when it's us and we feed off the emotion of the crowd and decide what to do because of that and go back and forth, without that aspect, it is just not the same. It's mind-blowing. They stuck with us through this. We owe them coming out of the gate to deliver, and we will.
Yeah, and for you, a little bit more than some other, you look at guys like Otis and Elias and yourself, you're the show-off. You guys feed off of that crowd reaction more than some other people. So, I mean, it's like, what? I can't even begin to wonder how difficult that was to get that flow and to get that energy during the Thunderdome era, or even especially the empty arena era.
Yeah, say even before, people forget, they go Thunderdome era. Before that, we had basically a quiet movie set soundstage where you could hear a pin drop and you just had to go, and you would just be standing there and it'd be like, ding, 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 and you're like, this is not. I've been warmed up for like Kent State matches where I'm slapping myself, and there's 20 people in those bleachers for those shows or matches or whatever, and it's like I could feed off something. There was nothing, and it was just like, I love this, let's go, and you go for it, and it's just not the same. This is something that we took for granted, and without them, we don't have a show. We get through it, we deliver a show, but now we go back to blowing the roof off back and forth, or booing me out of the building.
I mean,
whatever.
You had that one fan at WrestleMania 36, the one in the ceiling.
Solid. I'm like, was there one fan? Like, oh yeah.
Dolph Ziggler right now, one half of the Dirty Dawgs tag team here on SmackDown, as many of you know who are watching right now. I had a chance to talk to the other half of that, Robert Roode, back in March.
No way. All right.
Yes, and he told me that this was a Paul Heyman idea, and put you guys together, and for him it was just immediate chemistry. Did you feel the same way when you guys first got put together?
It wasn't even then. It was I believe he debuted from NXT, and at the time it was for some reason I'm not in the main event fighting for the world title like I should be, so someone's from NXT, I know who they should face, Dolph. And there was 2 years of that or whatever the hell it was. And I was like, oh, no, one of these guys, I got it. But that happens a lot. With him, I've been told from a few mentors in the past and a few people who have bounced back and forth from different companies to go, this is one of the few guys that is something special. And a friend of ours, I think it was maybe Dreamer, told each of us that we're the other guy at the other company, that like, we're the go-to guy. We're the one that's gonna deliver. If you gotta be in the world title match, it makes sense. If you gotta help somebody out, that makes sense. So that made it so much easier. We tied up that first match like after a WrestleMania or something, a live event, and I went, oh, this guy gets it. This is great. So when we got put together, I went, oh, okay. We don't even have to have like this 6-month period where we're like getting to know each other and give a look and whatever. It was just, we both very much think the same way, which is pretty awesome for having 20 years in our back pocket, give or take for each of us. We've gone through the ups and downs. We know what needs to be done. We know how to take something away and give it back. And it's a special thing. He's a badass. He's so jacked, and he's good at wrestling. Like he's this awesome superstar, And I go, well, I'm pretty good too. I mean, if he wasn't around, I'd be like the best one. And I'm used to being like the good one on the team, calling all the shots. But it's back and forth because we're both so good. And I guess it kind of works out when you got two on the same page, not trying to stab each other in the back, surprisingly, because they're a couple of real life bad guys.
Right, sure.
Became the Dirty Dawgs. But to have that, we're like, we know what needs to be done. We'll get it done. Hey, there's 30 seconds here. Get it done. No problem.
Yeah. And, you know, when you look at, like, great tag team performers, you know, Robert Roode, for most people, is not a name that would come up there, but he is. He is absolutely,
he's good.
He's been one of the best tag team performers across, you know, promotions for, you know, going on 20 years now. So, yeah, you guys gelled immediately. You win the SmackDown tag team titles. You didn't get to defend them very often. You had them a long time. I got to feel like, you know, you feel like there's some more potential there for you guys to show what you can do on SmackDown.
There really is, because we were utilized in several different kinds of ways and different positions, and I totally get that. Sometimes our company tends to put the tag titles on the back burner, or tag teams, because they're focusing on a couple big goals that day. Totally understandable. We're used to that. So that was hey, you got 30 seconds. Can you make this special? I'm like, damn right we will, because the two of us can. So that happens, and you got to find a way to make it work. And once in a while, it goes in cycles, and it's like, main event of the show is the tag team championships, 30 minutes, figure it out. And you go, all right, here's our chance. That's what we've been waiting for and playing it up for. So it all goes in cycles. We didn't defend them too much, but sometimes it works out when you're bad guys, and you can kind of say, like, we don't have to defend them, brother.
Sure.
Pay us or whatever. So that kind of played into it. But being Dirty Dawgs, real life, genuine bad guys who are good at their jobs, it made sense.
For the most of the time, you guys were feuding with the Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. Those are two guys. Angelo actually went to the same high school that I did. We were there at the same time. We knew some of the same people. Didn't know each other. But one day I'll get to actually tell them that in person. Those are two guys that I'm extremely high on personally. And Montez Ford, every time he jumps out of the dang arena, it's incredible. I mean, what's it like working with two younger guys like that, especially somebody with the athleticism of Montez Ford?
It's great, because those two, for being younger guys, for being slightly less inexperienced than the two of us who have the most, it was great to see, like, not just their athleticism. I know that comes up because that splash is so crazy. He turns in the air, he goes 100 feet in the air, and I'm blown away watching it. It was just during a time where normally in the old days would have been Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, whatever, live events, being in there with those guys, and not just going toe-to-toe and doing things, like passing a little knowledge onto them. So a lot of the Fridays would be like, there's 90 seconds, and you guys have these guys. All right, let's figure something out. So knowing that they can do what they can do, knowing that they were not just ready to listen, contribute, deliver, these guys are going to be something special. And I don't speak highly of a bunch of people unless I know they can deliver. And these guys are awesome. I hope once we get back to the live events with fans that we can have a couple months with these guys and show them how it's done out there.
We are, at the time of this recording, a week away, a week removed almost from Money in the Bank. You, of course, have one of the greatest Money in the Bank cash-ins of all time, Monday Night Raw. One of the people who was right alongside you at the time, Big E, just won the Money in the Bank briefcase this past week. You know, what has it been like for you to watch Big E from when he came in with you in NXT, up from NXT on Raw, and now to where he is, you know, through the New Day, through the Intercontinental Championships, and now Mr. Money in the Bank? What's it been like for you to watch him evolve?
It's one thing to go, you see someone from NXT, and they're 6'8", and they're throwing people around, and you go, okay, we'll see. Those people come and go a lot. And I was told, this is the guy watching your back. And I go, okay, this could be something good, or a guy could be gone in a week. I don't know him. And you realize that for a while he was like this stone face, like he's a badass guy, which he is, it's fine. But you got to get to know him, and you see the character side of him. You see that he can do the friggin' splits, he can dive out of the ring, he can do all these things, and you go, whoa. This is something cool here. And then you start to get that chemistry. AJ, E, and myself had this really cool chemistry going. And even though we're losing 95% of the time, which I'm used to by myself, there was 3 of us and we're losing 95% of the time, which made it more entertaining and more fun for us. But watching him go from like, I like this guy. We know he's sweet. We know he's stronger than hell. Is he gonna make it? And you watch him do things here, and then there's a couple months where we kind of went our separate ways, and he wasn't being utilized on the show, and I said, brother, sometimes it's better to not be on the show just to get slapped around by someone else who's going to a WrestleMania match than to be out there and sitting backstage and going, let people forget about you for a few months. It sucks, it kills you. When I haven't been on the show with that live crowd, I was dying backstage. That's how it goes. You want to perform. And you get to a point where then he came back and did something special. I forget what the hell it was, but I went, they got him, good. And he's slowly been building that. And then the New Day, at first, I didn't even think the New Day were gonna get a chance. I go, they did this thing, let's see what they're gonna let them do, let's see what they are gonna do. And you go, I'm happy they got a shot. I don't know if they're behind them or not. And then you see them little pieces sneak out here and there and you go, there's nothing like this on our show. And then they went 10,000 times above that and you go, not only is it special, this is great. We need this. We can't just have Daniel Bryan and myself doing headlock takeovers. You gotta see something special like this that no one else on this roster or that you know can do. And as a group, they became more powerful. And even with the jokes and the fun, you had to take them seriously because they delivered every night. So I'm already a huge fan of Kofi's because we had a best of 500 series that he won 497-3. But we were put together all the time just for the athleticism. And then you got to see his character come out. He became friggin' world champion. Yeah. How awesome is that? I did an interview a long time ago. What was your favorite moment here? And they're like, Money in the Bank. So I go, watching Kofi Mania was awesome because he wasn't brand new. He wasn't pushed down your throats. He was this guy who just did his work and stood out every time he did something, and then eventually it all worked out because of the crowds behind them instead of iPads out there. So that really, not only do they help our shows, that changes the business. That changes WrestleMania main events because of them, and that's real, man.
I mean, you look
anyway, Big E rocks. Yeah. And I'm rooting for him. I hope. Well, I don't know what the hell's going to happen. I hope that this takes months and months and months or 10 months or a year, and you see the extra layers. We've seen that he can do anything. We've seen that he can have fun. Let us see that he can be the guy when the tickets go on sale is, we want to see Big E in the main event defending his title. And I think that can absolutely happen. So don't mess it up.
I was going to say, because not only did you have one of the best cash-ins, but you had one of the best runs.
What is this one of the best? Which one's better? It's okay. It will.
I have.
You're gonna hurt my feelings. I've had crap dumped on me here twice at work.
I would put you two behind Heist of the Century.
What's that?
The WrestleMania 30.
I don't watch Netflix. Heist of the Century. Da Vinci?
Rollins at WrestleMania 30.
I don't really care. I think they're all awesome. Yeah. I think that's friggin' amazing. I wasn't supposed to be World Heavyweight Champion. I was told I wouldn't be World Heavyweight Champion. I was told, if you cash this in, it's just for the moment, and we'll see you later. The crowds made that the special moment, so they had to one-up it with one of their guys, Seth, in WrestleMania. I totally get it. They're like, man, that was pretty loud. I bet if we have 40,000 more people, it'll be louder, and then one of our guys gets the #1 spot. But man, another one, I got to do, I think it was me, Robert Roode, and be Braun or Baron in and out of there with the Shield going, Seth's the future of our company. Big fan, happy to be a part of it, and kind of go back and forth with him for a little while too.
Yeah. So what would
that's always fun.
What would be your advice to E? Because you did have that really, really successful run with the briefcase. As he's now looking to do that, to have a meaningful run with the briefcase and have a big cash in up to the levels of yourself and Seth Rollins. What would be your advice to him?
There's gonna be 10 chefs over the pot every day, and then there's going to be 100 chefs over the pot every day after this week, and you have to fight through it. And he's been around enough, and he's seen enough bitterness from me of like, hey man, this is how it goes, this is what you got to do. And at the end of the day, you have to make a decision for yourself when there's 20 veterans or the boss telling you this is the way to go and it just doesn't feel right. You might have to make a move, and sometimes it's positive and sometimes it's negative, but when you do so many positive moves in a row like he has been doing, I feel like he's going to be fine. And not just fine, I am rooting for this. Of course, everybody likes moments, and that's great, and him winning the briefcase I think was a great moment.
Yeah.
Him cashing in, if that becomes the greatest cash-in of all time, fantastic, I love that. But I want to watch the progression that not that he has done. From here, it's day one today, all the way through, God, I hope it's 10 friggin' months, and he becomes a 10th version of himself that we know he can do, then it become the main event player. Then you become the John Cena. Then you become the guy that when you are on the marquee, more people come. And I think that can happen, and I'm rooting for it too.
My luck, it'll happen before this interview comes out, and half of it will be burnt.
Yikes. Yeah, take all the good stuff I said out. Just leave the part where I'm like, Seth sucks, and then just be totally like cut out of it and be like, what?
Dolph, this has been fantastic. Hope to get to do it again one day. SmackDown tonight in Cleveland. Enjoy it. Hope you get to go out there and wrestle in front of some people, especially your home crowd.
Yeah.
And again, you can watch him on SmackDown every Friday night on Fox at 8 o'clock, or when SmackDown comes to your town, buy some tickets because the fans are back. You can go to the shows. Get out of your house. Go to your shows. And keep watching the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel as well. Thanks, guys.